Hello friends, welcome back. Today we are talking about twig stoves, or hobo stoves as some people call them. They're essentially little metal stoves that we can put biomass into, fire up, and use to cook our food. I want to talk about making them, my experience. Do I like them? Do I not like them? I also want to talk about the potential of buying one. Is it worth spending money on one of these little metal stoves? Or can I get the same quality out of building one out of a can? Go ahead and stick around and see what I've learned.
It just so happens the world is full of cans desperately waiting to be turned into twig stoves. I find the smallest can worth using is the popular 28-ounce size. This pack's fairly small while still offering enough space to load up with fuel. Now, before you start cringing, realize that I'm using an old beat-up knife to attack this metal. This knife is thick and great for piercing. I would not use a delicate knife to do this, especially this twisting motion. This will surely wreck a nice edge. That being said, a tool like this can make quick work of opening up vents at the top and the bottom of a can. If you've had trouble cooking over a twig stove before, it's highly likely that you didn't have enough space for smoke to vent out of the top of the stove. We need to maximize these vents to release as much smoke as possible. There are a lot of can stove designs out there. If I want to go for maximum efficiency, I'll put a can inside a can and build what's called a gasifier. Those are amazing little stoves, but they're more complicated and they're a little heavier. If I want an ultralight stove I can build in minutes, this is the design that I've ironed out. The beauty of the single can with big vents design is that it can actually support a pot without requiring an additional pot stand resting on the top of the stove. You'll see that often with other designs. So voila, with a few sticks we can take care of simple cooking. But for this video, I decided I'd test streamlining the design even more. The top holes on this stove leave me uneasy. I know twisting a knife to make big holes is a really poor decision for many knives. So I figured I'd try puncturing a lot of top vents to see if I could sustain a fire. This way a little touch up with the sharpener is all I need to keep my knife in working order. As with any fire, I need the driest possible tinder I can find. Because heat travels upwards, I find that if I lay my can down on its side, it ends up being a better way to start the combustion. Along the same principle, placing sticks vertically in the can results in them heating and burning more easily. I was excited to discover that placing tons of vents around the top of the stove was sufficient to not choke the flames. It also probably maintains the structural integrity of the can more so than twisting big holes into the top. This is particularly great news if you have a can opener like this, which will build a powerful stove in no time. But what about adding more fuel into the fire? Shouldn't we cut a fuel entrance or add a tunnel like a rocket stove? I've played around with many versions of these minimalist hobo stoves, and from my experience, adding a side fuel door is not better. Because heat travels upwards, sticking fuel in the side allows only the tip of the fuel to actively combust, so we must constantly push fuel inwards to maintain the fire. I like a contained stove because it prevents heat leaking out of the side and it won't spill burning sticks onto the surrounding ground. These stoves will not last forever, but wrapping them up and keeping them dry will keep rust from eating them rapidly. Lastly, I want to talk about buying a similar stove. This is an $80 titanium twig stove for the luxurious hobo. It packs flat and it puzzle pieces together to make a reliable cooking tool. It doesn't rust and the metal stands up to extreme temperatures. It's great in a lot of ways, but it's definitely more expensive than a can of beans. Both weigh about the same to carry around in our pack, and both will cook a squirrel very efficiently. I'd say the one drawback for me with this titanium stove is that the side fuel entrance is a safety hazard. Walking away from the stove for even a minute feels dangerous, whereas the containment of the can stoves I showed keep the fire inside, especially in windy weather.
So maybe you've been carrying around a gas stove and fuels for that stove, and you don't want to do that anymore. Go ahead and give one of these biomass twig hobo stoves a shot. They're really easy to make, they work well, you'll pretty much never run out of fuel. If you have made these before and you do a slightly different design, go ahead and let me know about it. And if you like learning about this sort of stuff and you want to watch more videos on stove designs I've played with, go ahead and subscribe and I'll catch you in the next one.